So earlier this morning, Sporting Life reported that there was a major horse racing gamble going down. So in this video, I want to break that down, share some facts and truths around what was actually happening, and share with you a way in which you could have worked this to your own personal advantage in terms of making a profit. Now, before we get into the finer detail, if I can just remind you guys, please, if you find this video useful or interesting at all, which I've no doubt you will, then please tap the like button down below on this video to show your appreciation, as this channel is not sponsored. So the Sporting Life reported this morning that there was 5 runners and a major gamble going on. Now, the 5 horses that are in question all come from the David Jeffries yard. We had Not Now Seamus, Perfect Predictor, Get a Man, The Gold Bug and Blood Eagle. So first and foremost, I looked at this, I thought, hey, this could be interesting. If this ends up being a long accumulator throughout the day, then you could see those last prices really crash. As I mentioned previously in an article on the blog, we'll put a link in the description down below. However, on further inspection, you can see straight away, looking at the Betfair charts there, there's very little money matched on these runners at larger prices, as claimed, throughout the media. Now, Not Now Seamus may have just been the first one, so we'll go through these one at a time very quickly. We've got Perfect Predictor. You can see also a small amount of money was matched up there at sort of 7.5. We're talking 10s, 20s. We're not talking about hundreds and hundreds or thousands of pounds. It was obviously during the small hours in the morning, so that's why the market was more fickle then. But this already, straight away, looking at these different runners, this doesn't look like a major gamble to me. Okay, this money's been matched at various prices, which are also significantly bigger than the bookmakers, I'll add, and we'll come to that in just a second. But the point here that I want to make is the industry routinely lies to punters. So this horse is also supposedly being gambled. I mean, look at that chart, it's a drifter. So the industry routinely lies to punters in order to get them to part with their cash, thus making profit for the bookmakers, who are then the paymasters for a lot of affiliates such as the Sporting Life. Now, I'm not saying that the Sporting Life set out in this instance to create this all on their own. I don't know where the originator was, but I looked at it straight away and I thought, this is not a gamble, and if anything, these prices are likely to be overbet because of the media exposure that they're going to receive, and also the additional media that you're likely to see throughout the day. So if we go over to the Racing Post, just to confirm and be crystal clear here, the bookmakers' prices were significantly shorter than the betting exchange. No surprises there. You always get more value on a betting exchange, but also they hadn't even really contracted. So I was thinking, this is a bit of a dud article, because you can see there, Not Now Seamus has gone from 11 to 8 to 6 to 4. That's hardly, a big steamer or a major horse racing gamble or coup. So to look at the others, just quickly, let's go through there. We've also got Perfect Predictor, favourite in this race, 6 to 4, but it was available up there at sort of 4 to 1 on the exchange, which is huge disparity between the two. So I'll leave the recording going on screen there just so you can see some of these prices, but the point that I want to make here is, why is this significant for you, and how can you turn this into making money? Well, once you realise how the industry operates, how a lot of these providers, affiliates, news sources are pulling the wool over the average Joe, the average punter's eyes, you can suddenly start to see things for what they are, and therefore start to make money from them in terms of cashing out and trading in the market. So anybody who's not familiar with this channel already, or myself, I've got a blog, shares a lot of information about that. We'll put a link in the description down below, a few courses. But in order to make money from horse racing betting, you need to get larger value odds than its true probability of it happening. It's that simple. And then you need to let it play out over a period of time. We've also got a separate video on this channel titled Betting Strategy. We'll put a link in the description down below or at the top, which lays that out very clearly for somebody who doesn't yet fully understand exactly what I'm talking about. Now, all of that said and done, we can move on to the most important thing, and the thing that only really matters, which is price. So we need to get a good price, whether we're backing or laying, so we can then cash out for a profit if the price contracts or drifts. And we're looking to anticipate where that price action is likely to go when we're trading these sports odds. Now, in this instance, the media is actually doing the work for us, because the prices are likely to be overbet, particularly if the first 1 or 2 of these are donkeys and don't actually put in the expected behaviour, because then the accumulator becomes less and less value for people that have then followed suit and piled on. The bookmakers also artificially slash their prices in order to make sure that the average Joe and punter gets poorer value. The complete inverse to what I'm talking about in terms of that betting strategy video there. Also, just to highlight to you that those prices never really were, because in this instance, I've seen it many times before, Hugh Taylor tips, stuff like that. People say, oh, the price was available. If we look at Odds Checker and you see the affiliate data for the bookmakers' prices, you'll see into the small hours, those prices were never available. You know, the big ones that are quoted. I've seen somebody, and it's no fault of their own on Twitter, saying, oh, but some of those prices were 66 to 1 the evening before. No, they were not. Those prices were never that big. And, you know, the way sportsbooks operate shows the fact that we can't see any money was actually matched at those prices, which is why my go-to is always the exchange, because you can see where some volume was matched before you start to build up your own picture. You know, it seems quite cynical, but believe nobody in the gambling industry is probably a good way of looking at things. So what do you have to do to make money in this instance? First of all, you want to verify if this is actually a genuine major gamble, as the article says. In this instance, looking at those runners, they weren't available at those prices. I can't see any reason that they were back significantly, and it doesn't look like it was a gamble. It looks a little bit false. So I've answered that question. The next thing to look at is, you know, is there confirming signals beyond that that shows us that this is likely to be a genuine gamble? And having looked around everywhere, honestly, I couldn't see anything to say that this is likely to be a genuine gamble. It's almost like it's a big dirty fake. It could have been somebody matching a couple of £100 the night before with some bookmakers, and then it spiraled and got out of control quite genuinely. I don't really know. But the two angles from there are we going to trade against these, i.e. laying them first and backing them at a bigger price to lock in a profit, or are we going to look to take them on with something else in the marketplace, which is highly likely to contract in price? Now, I'll spare you going through all the SP prices on the screen there. You can do that with Timeform if you want to do that yourself afterwards, but all of these prices drifted. Okay, so that is where the angle is here. So you can make money cashing out from the price lengthening because it was overbet, it was artificially short in the first place, and it was never really much of a gamble. In fact, it wasn't a gamble at all. Now, if we look at some of the results there on the Racing Post, you'll see that all of these horses were a complete failure. So the first one, Not Now Seamus, was actually pulled up in running. The second one, Perfect Predator, come 9th, which was, you know, it's not really what you expect to see from a horse that's supposedly part of a major gamble. In the third race, there was actually 2 selections. One of them was withdrawn, which is, you know, it's not really unusual if you're expecting some kind of gamble to unfold. But the second one actually come last, and the final runner in the 420 Blood Eagle actually come 3rd. So I think it's fair to say that that was a bit of a fake overall major gamble. But the lesson that you want to learn from this video is you can cash out and make money through trading prices and price movements on the exchanges when you can find a situation where a horse is particularly overbet. I think that, you know, in reality, a lot of people have tried to come to it from the opposite angle, saying that they want to back this or put in an accumulator, and the value was always gone, because the number one thing you need to remember is price is the only thing that really matters. Now, if that's a little bit lost on you, then check out this video in the end screen about betting strategy, which will explain that for you quite clearly.